Episode 14 of season 11, our first ever double episode. What do you think? You think we can pull her off, boys?
Definitely think so.
Feeling good? We've never done this before, so if you don't like the 15-minute edition, this is going to be painful. It's gonna be long. We're looking at about half an hour. With me, Cayden, Nychyporuk, Nick Hutchings. I got it right this time. I was going to call you Nate again. Behind the camera, a guy who I think should be the next inductee into the TRCC Hall of Fame in the builder department. What do you think?
For hockey building?
Well, just sport building all around, because we've got all kinds of different sports out there.
Do all the camera work for everything.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's a good pick.
Can I get your name on that application too? Will you sign off on it?
Yeah, I'll sign off on it, I guess.
It's Paul. That's 2 votes. That's not bad. And me submitting it. So it's a small start, but it's a start. Paul Anderson, the guy behind the camera. Like we said, double episode. It's the last one of the year. We missed last week. It just kind of didn't fall together. So we thought we got to get a whole bunch of extra people on this time. Just before we decide who we do this weekend, we won't touch long on it, but Saturday night game, give us a little just quick rundown. What happened?
We were doing pretty good at the start. Then Nate had to go and mess up his shoulder for some reason. Don't know why he did that. Yeah, he chose to do that. And then from there on, it was not as close.
Did you hear this story? You heard it. I heard it third hand, but apparently it was your dad that witnessed this. So we all know Nate, probably one of the most thankful, kind guys on the team. He's a talker. Was in the dressing room here. He had hurt his shoulder. He was in pretty rough shape. And he thanked the ambulance guys for coming so quick and for coming to get him. Did you hear that one?
No, I haven't heard that.
No, you heard
I believe it, though. I believe it.
I believe that. That sounds like something he would do. Geez, thanks, guys, for coming to get me and for coming so quick. It was your dad that I heard it third hand, but it was your dad that saw it happen.
Really? I'd never believe it. I would believe that, but that's hilarious.
Gotta be. And then Sunday's game. Any thoughts on Sunday's game?
Portey's 28 penalty minutes. That's it. Highlight of the night. It was awesome.
I was hoping we'd get to that. Yeah. Who saw that coming? Anybody?
No, I don't think anyone's seen that one coming.
So he's done for the year.
Well, I know. You can ask him about him and Tom Chuck's plan. He'll tell you all about it, I'm sure.
Maybe we'll have to do that. Speaking of him, who do you think we should go? Okay, so we've been hoping all year that we could get Nick picks along with Niche picks, although I still like Hutch's hunch for the name of this segment.
I think Nick Picks goes first here.
Yeah, Nick Picks, he's been wanting to get on all year. Double episode, we had to get 2 people on the intro. So Nick Picks, who should we bring on the show?
Should get Russell and Niche. Niche.
Oh, I like that. We'll finish the show with him. Spoiler alert. Okay, so Russell, what should we ask Russell about? I'm thinking it's Arctic Winter Games.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else? Any other questions you got for him?
Ask him about his new nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that. And question for Niche?
Sure.
He makes his own question. This guy's a pro. And double episode, so who else should we bring on?
I think we bring on Ports and Nate.
Good show. 2 veterans. We wanted to get all the vets, and I think that rounds out our veterans with the 2 of those guys. Questions for Portsy. We asked him about the 28, obviously. What else should we ask him about?
I think you said the plan, right? The plan that he had? That's a part of the 28?
Okay.
I think we should also just ask him, what does he like about Golf Town?
Ooh. Golf Town?
Yeah, Golf Town, of all places.
Okay, we'll circle back to this one about he loves everything about golf.
I was trying to get Hutch on my dad always, what do you like about it?
Oh, that was a pretty good impression too. And we actually caught Nate a while ago, so we'll get him on the show too. Be great to chat with him. And let's try both coaches. We'll see if we can get them both on. We'll get on Greg and Stewie to round out the big episode. It's a double episode, first one ever. It's taken us 11 seasons to get here. Hutch's Hunch, Niche Picks. I'm your host, Bruce Krentz. This is the Northstar Show.
Double the agony. Double
the pain if it doesn't go well on the Northstar Show. Coach Stuart, this is the last one of the year. It's over. So I was thinking maybe we'll reflect back a little bit on the year. This past weekend, we had a couple losses. We won't talk too much about that. I don't think it was, whatever. It happened. 6-1 and 6-2. Any thoughts at all on the weekend?
You know, it's just one of those things, competing for 60 minutes. You know, we were in that first game for quite a while. We were out chancing them, I thought, for a long period of time, and I think it was 2-1 when Nate got hurt. That was his first game back. Yeah. It was kind of a raw deal for him, and I think that kind of deflated the bench on Saturday night. And then Sunday, we just a bad start. I think it was 5-1 halfway through the game, and then it ended only 6-1. So the second half wasn't bad, but too late.
Bummer. Yeah, we have a chat coming up with Nate a little further on in the show, and talk about bad luck for that. Like, that guy could not catch a break this year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, the concussion, and then to come back for a game and separate his shoulder.
Yeah, kind of part of our billet family. So we got to know him, and great guy and great kid, and so it was really kind of a bummer that went the way it did.
Yeah, it was. I know he appreciated the opportunity to play here too, so it was good for us and good for him as well, and good to, you know, for a Winnipeg kid to maybe spread the word that there's a lot of good up here and things other than hockey up here too. He got to experience some of the lake life with you guys and that. So
yeah, for sure, he blended in with us. Yeah, we did a lot of that, and it seemed like he really enjoyed it. His dad was up even, and so we took him out as well. And you're right, for them to spread the word that it's a good, fun place to be. It can't hurt at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Looking back on the year, not just this past weekend, but any highlights from this year that stick out for you when top of the mind?
The handful of the Saturday night wins, and especially that one against the Thrashers being, I think we were down by 2 or 3 goals at one point in that game, so to make the comeback on a Saturday night against a good team, that's probably one of the highlights for sure.
Things that stick out, absolutely. We've got some kids that are going to take that experience and take this year's experience and move on. So some playing with NCN, going all different places. Do you have some advice for those kids? What do you tell them when, you know, you obviously get the calls to sign off on them moving, or, you know, guys are talking about playing next year? What's some of the things that you tell them?
Don't waste your off season just being lazy playing video games, because it's not like that anymore. It's not the old days where you show up 2 weeks early and start jogging and skating and you're good in 2 weeks. And you can tell the kids that do and don't. And I've seen kids that come to camp and look really good one year, and then the next year they get complacent and they don't look good. And I've seen ones miss the team because of that.
Wow.
So
it is good advice. And you're right, it should never be named training camp anymore. Like back 40 years ago, you're right, you came there to get in shape. Now there's no training.
No, the expectation is for you to come in shape. So if you don't, well, then that's kind of a minus already.
And same piece of advice, I'm guessing, for the kids. If there's some people watching that are thinking they're going to try out, they're going to be looking at being on the team next year, what's some of your advice for them between now and the day that they're sitting in a dressing room like this one?
Well, obviously the off-season training. And, you know, the NHL goes on till, June something? Watch some hockey. Watch the guy that plays your position or your favorite player and see what they do, and then try to emulate it out on the ice, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you can only learn, right?
Yeah, great advice. I mean, you can almost liken that a little bit to Rockstars do the same thing, right? They all watch their favorite bands and they all go to the shows because that's where you learn.
Yeah, exactly. True.
How to be a performer. Anything stand out stats-wise on the year? I know you're a stats guy. There probably wasn't a bunch of those, but anything at all that sticks out for you?
I don't know about sticks out. It was a tough year in the stat department last year. There was a lot of really good ones to throw out there. This year, you know, I think the big thing this year is just realizing that there were so many 15 and 16-year-olds on the team, and all those 15-year-olds came without Bantam AAA experience because there was no Bantam AAA team last year. So you could see the adjustment took longer, I think, for some of them, and I mean, that's not a stat, but that's,
I mean, kind of a thought on the year. And I mean, building on that, any of those kids that are sticking out for you that you think are going to make a bigger impact next year? Any other kids that, as they're moving on, maybe you think we're going to be surprised to see in a couple years are really doing well?
Well, I think looking up front, Isaac Tomchuk's energy, if he can pull a little more goal scoring ability out of that energy, that'd be super. I mean, Dalen, you know, he went up and down during the season, you know, like the triple, like Isaac played for Parkland last year, actually. So he played AAA, right? Dalen had he had a decent start, and then he had a lull for a little while, and he's found it again lately. So, I mean, he's got a scoring touch. He's up to 8 goals now, which is decent for a 15-year-old, really. And then you go in the back and you look at Isaac and Reed. I mean, two 15-year-old D-men. One's got, I think Reed's got 23 points and Isaac's got about 15. That's a pretty good, for a 15-year-old D-man, those are actually good numbers, yeah.
Yeah, and lots of runway in front of those guys to just keep getting bigger and stronger and to make an impact.
Well, and a ton of ice time too, right? So they're going to come in with a load of experience in all situations, like, which, you know, isn't the norm actually. So it'll be huge for them next year.
Yeah. Just before we let you go, just a little mention, I think, of those guys that are off to the Canada Games right now, and we're going to talk to Russell in a few minutes about his experience at the Arctic Winter Games. Amazing for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, the Arctic Winter Games, Russell Matoo, Prime Panic, and Gregory Wiseman were representing Nunavut, and about 6 other former Northstars were playing for the team too. Tucker St. John, Kobe Tanyuk, Kobe Connolly, Justin Nychyporuk. If I'm forgetting someone. There was a bunch of others that had tried out. So it was good to see all the North Star representation there. And then now Prime and Greg are both headed to Canada Games. We'll miss them this week. And obviously Greg being our leading goal scorer and Prime our leading point getter. So that's a tough loss for us. But yeah.
But good news for the Canada Games team.
Yeah, hopefully they can put a good show on there for them.
Yeah. Best of luck this weekend, Coach, and thanks for everything this year. It's been great chatting as we do it, and that's it. Maybe we'll see you back here next year.
Maybe. Grandma Krentz, hi.
What a way to finish it.
Hi, my name is Maddox Long. I'm number 21. I play left wing. I'm from Thompson, Manitoba. I went to Acol Riverside School, and my favorite pregame meal is chicken Alfredo.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's the interview, a veteran segment. It's the guys that are leaving the team and moving on to something else. Captain Ethan Portey. Ports, let's start with this. Favorite memory, your highlight of your North Star career?
I would say on the ice, probably 6-point weekend in Kenora last year, back-to-back 3-point games. Off the ice, there's just tons of fun memories, always road trips, and doing things with the fellas is always a good time.
And there has been lots of that. I think sometimes people that just come to watch the games don't realize you guys are basically a family. Whether you like it or not, you're stuck together for 6 months over the course of the winter, and generally good times.
Oh yeah, always good times.
Nice to meet some guys from out of town and have some fun. Speaking of that, who are some of your favorite guys to play with over the last couple of years?
Prime, Panic, Wisey. Last year played with Clark and Prime, Noel, Nychy, Hutch. You go on and on. I like playing with everyone.
Yeah, I guess. Well, especially this year, we've had people out of the lineup for a whole bunch of different reasons, so you do get spun around. It's not like you're just out with the same 2 linies every shift.
Yeah, had lots of lines this year.
It's been good. Anyone off the ice, I know, sort of playing and hanging out, any 1 or 2 guys stick out that you like rooming with, that you like sitting with on the bus? Who surprised you?
Sat across from Reed this year, and in front of me was Noel. Behind me was Hutch. It was always a good trip, and Catchway was right there. So those were always good bus trips. Good group.
Yeah. So you guys have had lots of fun times. You've had lots of good stuff together. Next year, there's going to be a bunch of rookies sitting in a room that looks a little bit like Studio 7 here. If you had one piece of advice for guys who are starting off their time with the North Stars, what would you tell them?
Just have fun. Have the most fun you can, and just take it all in. It goes by really quick. Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, pretty well.
I like that one. Enjoy every moment. Looking back, I guess, a little bit even deeper into your minor hockey career, who are some of the coaches that you've had? Maybe it includes some of the North Star coaches that are memorable for you, some of your faves.
Yeah, I had my first select team. I had Mike Krentz. That was a good coach. F1, F2,
Great
F3.
shout out. Yeah.
That's where I learned F1, F2, F3.
Oh, wow. Never
forgot it since. I've had Greg long a few times. Who else have I had? I had Stewie these last 2 years. They've been good, and yeah.
How about some of the guys that you played with that maybe haven't gone quite as far as the North Stars, but do you have a few from Adam, Pee Wee, some guys that you look back thinking, man, we had some good times, some guys you like playing with?
Yeah, Gorov Guy. Had a fun growing up with him. I don't really know who else. Gorov.
Great shout out. I asked for one and you gave me one. Perfect. What have you got coming up for, oh, sorry, no, I got one more for you before that. Career highlight before we got to the Northstars. What are some things that look back on, maybe a personal achievement, team achievement?
Probably winning the Mun Cup. I feel like it was a pretty big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Perfect timing too, because we've got the Mun coming up this weekend. Unfortunately, you guys are out of town, but I know Paul and I did a little bit of work with the teams, and they're pretty jazzed up. And the Mun Cup, it just never disappoints. It's an exciting time to be at the rink.
Yeah, it's always a good time. Mun Cup.
Feels pretty good. Speaking of springtime coming, Mun Cup sort of starts to signal that spring's here. What have you got planned for spring and summer? Do you have any more hockey lined up? Has Cody been bugging you about NCN? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm gonna play the playoffs for NCN and then golf right away. It's coming.
Soon as you possibly can. We got the simulator in the garage, or what are we working? How are we keeping the swing sharp?
Just in the basement, always chipping in the basement and putting in the basement. So
that's almost even harder on the dryer than Sidney Crosby ripping pucks at it.
Yeah. There's been a couple holes in the walls.
Couple holes.
Yeah. Sure, I thought it was a good idea to bring a net inside that was been sitting outside, and ball went right through into the wall.
Ooh, didn't go so good. Every plant in your house kind of has PTSD because you're chipping into the plant?
No, I got a green and I got a putting green, so I just chipped like across my basement.
I love it. I don't have to ask what your plans for the summer are then. Obviously golf.
Yeah, golf.
Bunch of that coming up. How about next winter? Do you have any ideas what you're going to do? Go play hockey someplace, get a job, go to school, just see what happens?
Probably get a job, maybe, I don't know, out of Manitoba. See if I can get out of Manitoba. So go see somewhere else.
I love it. I think I'm just about at the end of my golf town. What do you think of Golf Town?
Oh, it's a great place. You can spend many hours in there. Dangerous place.
What's so great about it?
Everything. Everything, every aisle, everything.
That was the niche picks question. His dad giving you that line. Ethan Portey, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Hi, my name is Brian Putnell. I'm number 19. I'm play right wing. My hometown is Coral Harbour. My elementary school is Sucku School, and my favorite pregame meal is chicken Alfredo.
We're here with Nate Grant. It's You Don't Have to Go Home, but You Can't Stay Here segment. Your North Star career is going to come to an end pretty soon, Nate, and it hasn't been super long. Joined us partway through the year, although it feels now like you've sort of been here all year or been a part of the team basically since the start. A few reflections. What's some of the things that you think about from the on-ice stuff? What's some of the highlights of the year so far?
You know, it's been fun. I mean, obviously, we're not at the top of the league, so we sometimes get a few odd man rushes and chances against us. So it's been nice to be able to develop my game there and try to help the boys out and get some experience stopping those odd man rushes.
Lots of odd man rushes, lots of shots in the games that you played. Unfortunately, it's been kind of an up and down year for you, so probably didn't play as many games as you liked. But you were happy with how you were playing when you were playing? Yeah,
I thought there was a little bit of an adjustment when I came here, and then one maybe not the best day out in Eastman after the break, but other than that, I mean, it was like a little bit of a steady progression. At the first, it was not bad, and then took a little bit of a hit, and then tried to work the way back up, and pretty happy with the progress we made going into next year. Yeah,
for sure. What were some of the things that you were working on personally as the season went on? What were some of the things you were trying to get better at?
I was trying to get better. We always try to get better with our hands as goalies and our eyes, making sure that our eyes are on top of the puck is huge, because then it gives us the best chance to see it, and then just make sure those hands are out front, which brings us forward and into a good butterfly and gives us the best chance at not only stopping that puck but putting it in the best spot afterwards.
Controlling it. Wow. Obviously you've given a lot of thought to your on-ice game. How about the off-ice stuff with the guys? You've played on a few different teams in the last couple of years. How did this compare to some of the other places you've been?
It was great. We had a good group this year, I thought, and there were some veteran guys and some younger guys and guys that had been different places, and I think everyone brought something to the table, which was really nice, and that kind of showed a little bit as in the room. We were having some good laughs, and hopefully, I mean, those couple games that we won, it showed those those days. So there was some potential there, and yeah, it was a good group, ranked up high.
Right on. And any surprises? I mean, this is the farthest north you've lived for sure, and I'm sure you were kind of didn't know what you were going to get into when you were driving up to Thompson or coming up to Thompson. So any surprises, or what are your thoughts on sort of the time you spent in Thompson?
You know, I really loved my time in Thompson, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was going to be as tight-knit of a community as it is. You know, like when I first came here, I walked into the school and I met Bonnie Rempel, the principal, and she told me the first thing out of her mouth was, if Mike and Jenny ever go out of town, then I'll be staying with her, and that's exactly what's happening this week. So, you know, kind of full circle, and yeah, so it's really nice, and just kind of the whole community, like great billet family, great billet uncle, I guess, if you will. Yeah,
I'll take that.
and yeah, it's been a really tight knit community, and you really feel that support, and that's been really my favorite part so far.
Wow, it must have felt like the smallest town ever when the principal is going to be is your next door neighbor and looking after you.
Yeah, and her husband refs the games.
Yeah. That is a small community. So what's next for you? Your AAA career ends up. What are you looking for next year? Hockey, work, job, school? What's shaking?
I'd hope to play some junior hockey if possible, anywhere that I can. I mean, yeah, and hopefully take a couple classes, and just that way we keep the brain working, and then yeah, hopefully after that, going to school, and maybe if hockey could pay for my first degree, that'd be awesome, and then come out of school with some no debts.
Carry on from there. What if you could play for any junior team? If the sky was the limit next year, where would you go?
I'd go to the Steinbach Pistons in the MJHL. You know, I spent a little bit of time there at the beginning of this year. They called me up, and I really enjoyed it there, and it was just a great community, and a small town, not unlike Thompson, and we really felt the support there. And Paul Dick, his head coach and general manager there, is great, and I really liked my time there. So yeah.
Did you know that the Krentzes are from Steinbach? So was that a plant? My grandmother lived there until a couple of years ago when she passed away. My parents are from Steinbach. We've got a lot of ties there. Your billet dad never talked to you about that? Mike didn't cover that?
I don't know. We may have talked about it once. Now that you rack my brain, but that would have been right when I kind of first got here, and kind of everything was new then. But yeah, I actually I think I may have known a little bit about that, but not as much as you just said. So
there you go. No, deep roots for us. So obviously we'd love it if you ended up down in Steinbach. You mentioned this paying for your first degree. So what are some of your longer term plans? What's in the future for Nate?
I really like kind of an MD PhD program right now, where I could get that medical doctor degree and also a PhD, and that way you can work with patients. And I'm really interested in kind of the brain and the nervous system and mental health. So if I could do some research understanding how mental health really affects our bodies, and then if we can help people in any way in that department, that'd be a dream come true.
We're really hoping you get there, and that's a great dream. I hope it works out. Last one, a little bit shorter term. So the season's wrapping up here. Do you have something lined up for spring? Are you hoping to get a little bit more hockey in with some junior B, some junior? Do you have anything lined up?
Yeah, nothing lined up yet, but I mean, hopefully I think there's a couple maybe opportunities to practice in some places when I get home, but I haven't really talked to anyone about games, and then just get back in the gym and working for next year.
See what happens. Hey, it was really great to meet you, have you here. You and I got to spend some time out at the lake, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, fun times in the winter. So best of luck, Nate.
Thank you.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Can't stay here.
Hi, my name is Isaac Tomchak. I'm number 12. I play center, and my hometown is DePaul, Manitoba. I went to Kelsey School, and my favorite pregame meal is chicken parm.
Coach Greg Long, double episode, 2 coaches. That's how you do it on a double episode. First one ever, and maybe last one ever of the Northstar show, so welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Highlights of the year, when you look back on this year, I mean, we don't have a ton of wins, but what are some things that stand out for you?
Yeah, I thought the team in general, we got off to a good start. Lots of kids at training camp, a good conditioning camp prior to the season. Close to 70 kids that showed up for the evaluation camp and to try out. And then that home opener as well, where we had close to 700 people in the stands. We won that home opener. I thought we got off to a really good start, this team, and that was one of the highlights, as well as just this last game here this weekend with that full crowd here again, and everything going to the Ross family.
Yeah, no, that was huge. I'm glad you brought that up, because we kind of missed it off the top. But I mean, such a big part of our team, Mike has been, in the past, and their whole family. So nice that the people showed up and that we could do that for them, because it's tough.
Absolutely. Like Mike and Brandy have been down here. Their daughters have been down here. Their boys went through the organization. Anytime we can give something back that those people in general have given so much to the Northstars, it's incredible. And it's good to have a bunch of people that rally around them and support them, and thoughts and prayers are with them.
Yeah, 100%. You beat me to it. And my next question was highlights off the ice this year, and that's got to be one of them. Just that we could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, when we can do things like that, it's great. Not only for the hockey, it's all about the people that you meet here, and whenever you can do things like that, it's massive, right? It's huge.
Yeah, pretty special for sure. Speaking of, their boys went through the program. We'll have a new crop of kids that show up here next year. What would be your advice for some of the kids that are watching now that think, I'd like to be on the team in a year or a couple of years? What's some advice for them?
Yeah, it's a process, right? Where you have to put the time in. It's not about just coming down here and showing up. It's about when you're getting ready in the summertime, what you need to work on, little parts of the game, the attention to detail that you need to improve on. And then once you get here, just saying, okay, I have to put the time in. There's other kids around this province here that put numerous amounts of hours in, and you just have to understand that part of it, that there's a lot of hard work that goes with it.
Yeah. None of us have enough natural talent just to wing it. None of us are Mario Lemieux.
Nobody does. And Lemieux or Gretzky, or doesn't matter who it is, McDavid, and the list goes on and on. It's all about the hours and the hours of hard work and putting the time and the sacrifice. Not only your parents and everyone involved, but yourself. You got to take it upon yourself to do it yourself, right? And it is what it is. Like, you'll only get back what you put into it.
And maybe one last piece for the guys that are looking to move on from this to play some junior or to play some higher level. I know you did at one time. You're probably not quite in shape to play junior hockey right now. Maybe you are, I don't know. But any sort of different advice? Because a lot in those cases, those guys are moving away from home. They're going to get a little bit less support because you're a little bit older. Any advice for those guys?
A lot of what I just said, actually, like, be prepared where you're going. Always have a plan B in place. And usually, from my experience, you'll know within the first 48, 72 hours if things feel right, not only with the coaching staff, with the players in the dressing room, with certain elements of the game, how you fit in, and if you're capable of playing at that level and with that particular organization. And then just go with it, and then work hard and try to be a good teammate and do what you need to do. But you have to go there with an open mind and make sure you're ready to go. Make sure you're ready to be there, and then leave it all out there on the ice.
That's excellent advice. Speaking of guys moving on, anybody here this year that or even that might be returning next year that has sort of impressed you? People like maybe diamond in the rough, or somebody who you think we should watch out for in the next couple of years that might explode? And you can say your own kids.
Yeah, you know what? And like I said before, we have a good group here. We have a good group of 07s actually that have 2 more years in the system that I bet you those kids that are moving on here could look back and say, hey, if I could do some things differently, I would change that. So if those kids want to put the time in and learn the game the proper way and excel on and off the ice, they all have a good chance to take it as far as they want, basically. But at the end of the day, that's what they have to do. They have to realize what their strengths and weaknesses are, and just go with that and just say, hey, listen, this is what I need to work on, whether it's my skating, whether it's my shooting, my hockey IQ, and all of the above. But there's a good group of kids here that have potential to go on, as well as some of the 05s too. Like they can do that, but you have to say, hey, do I really want this? That's what it comes down to. We talk about hockey IQ and stuff. It's the IQ is huge, but it's the I can that's more important than the IQ and the want. The want is huge in hockey. So that's what I would say to them. Yeah.
Well said, and you're right, it's an opportunity. I know last year we had a bunch of graduating players and things went pretty good, and it was nice to watch them, sort of mature and be comfortable in the league, and it feels like we have an opportunity like that coming up again.
We do, and we do, and then after the season is done, you reflect on it and think about what the good points and the bad points were, and then once August 1st rolls around, it's time to get back to work and say, hey, listen, this is where I want to go, this is how I'm going to get there, who's in that situation, who's on that team, who do I have to beat out of a position to be there, what is that coach or that organization looking for, how am I going to get there, and then take it upon yourself and surround yourself with some people, and don't be afraid to call on people, some older players or coaches or whatever, to mentor you and help you get there if that's truly what you want to do.
That's what you need. Yeah. Top shelf advice. Last one. You've coached at a bunch of different levels. You've been a coach for a number of years. What's your favorite part of the day? What's your favorite part of game day? Coming to the rink, of the whole experience, the whole game. What are some of your favorite parts of the day?
Yeah, that's it comes and goes actually with a group like this. I'm pretty proud of this group actually. Just the fact that we're in a tough situation here in the north, and these kids, it's frustrating with when you're not winning hockey games. But they stuck with it, right? They stuck with it, coming to the rink every day, and they're laughing and enjoying themselves when things are tough. And that's, as a coach, that's really good to see when you can still see that camaraderie, that compete level still having fun. And that's what hockey's all about, right? Having fun, coming to the rink, enjoying the time with your friends and getting out on the ice and competing. But that's great to see as a coach when we can see that in players' faces.
Well, heartwarming to hear. You're a hockey guy right to the core, and so I can see where that part of the game, when you can tell they love it.
Yeah, I hope so. And I always tell them, don't leave here and remove yourself from the game. You put so much time in up till you're 17 years old. Stay with hockey, whether you're 17 years old or 77 years old. Get back to the game, enjoy it. It's a good environment down here for kids. So just try to stay with it as much as you can, whether it's coaching, mentoring, helping out with practices, and the list goes on and on. Just try to enjoy it because it's good. It's good for kids.
Playing outdoor rink, old timers, wings, kings, we're all looking for players.
Absolutely.
Right on. Coach Craig Long, thanks a lot.
Thanks very much. Thanks, guys.
My name's Dale Monias, number 28. I play right wing from Thompson. Went to Westwood School, and my favorite pregame meal is spaghetti and meatballs.
Russell Matoo here on the Northstars show. It was Nick's pick, so we had him on the start. He got to pick who he wanted. He said, we got to talk to you. Let's not bury the lead. Look at this unbelievable looking jersey and this whole outfit. You don't even call it an outfit, but tell us about it. Where did this come from? Even though we kind of know it. Give me the scoop.
Team Nunavut. I don't really know much, but
yeah,
I don't know.
So amazing looking jerseys, and the whole thing looks just awesome. Now, how did you end up on Team Nunavut?
I don't know. They just thought I was good, I guess, and I don't really know. Yeah.
So did you have to do some tryouts somewhere along the line? Did you submit your name, or did they just sort of look around at the guys that were out there and called you up?
The people that were down south playing hockey, the Team Nunavut coach was just watching our games and just seeing if we're playing good or see if we're good, and pick who guys he wanted, and we got picked.
And did you do any practicing? Did you do sort of a training camp sort of thing, or did you guys just show up at the Arctic Winter Games and go for it?
We all just showed up, and we didn't have practice as a team, but we played pretty good.
Sounds like things went pretty good. So who are some of there was a few other guys from here that were there, so who are some of the guys that you knew, or who went with you?
Prime and Greg. That are on Northstars. Anyway, yeah.
And did you know any of the other, once you got there and walked into the dressing room, did you know some of the other players too?
Yeah, we all knew each other since like Adams or Pee Wee's, something like that. Yeah.
And how did the tournament go? Tell us about it. So how many games did you play, and how did you guys make out?
We played one game a day. It was Monday to Saturday, I think. We lost our first game because we didn't know each other as a team, but we got better each game.
And so you won the whole tournament?
Yeah.
And who did you play in the final? Do you remember?
Team Alaska.
And close game, exciting, fun game.
That was pretty fun. We were like the World Juniors practically. We lost our first game, but won.
After that, it was smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Where were some of the other places that there were teams from? So Alaska, Greenland team?
There was no Greenland team for hockey, but there was Greenland team for other sports, yeah. But there was Yukon, Alberta, Alaska, and NWT.
Okay. And would you say that is one of the highlights of your hockey career? Was it kind of neat to go play with those guys and just be in that whole experience? Because you're right, it's kind of like World Juniors. You come together, you spend a whole week. Pretty good experience overall.
Yeah, it was probably my best experience my whole hockey career for sure.
And were you staying in a dorm there or something like that and eating together? Was it kind of like that sort of a games experience?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that? Did you meet some people from other sports and from other places too? Was there any other sport that you kind of hung around with, or some people you got to know?
Just mostly hockey, yeah.
All the hockey people stuck together. Beauty. Last one, I guess. Where do you go from here? What's the plans for maybe springtime? Are you playing any spring hockey? And what's up for next year?
I'll probably come back next year, but we'll see.
See how it goes?
Yeah.
Awesome. Russell Matoo, congratulations. Congratulate the other guys when you talk to them, because I know they were excited about it too. And thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
I feel like this is a good way to close out the season because it's the same way we opened the season. So it's kind of like bookending what we did. Talking to Cayden Nychyporuk, been on the opening of all the shows, Nitch picks, and then we bring on Hutch and he picks you. And so we get a chance to do, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So jump right into it. You good?
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Ready to go? Kind of feels weird doing the long interview, but I love it. So comfortable. Northstar memories. Let's start there. What's some of your on-ice memories from the last couple of years?
I think one of my most thought about memories is I was watching in Kenora. Clark scoring that 5-goal game was pretty awesome. I think that first weekend that Cheech showed up and him throwing hits the way he was hitting in that first weekend was awesome. It really made everyone pretty excited for the season with him coming back. The bus trips, of course, just the off-ice stuff it's always fun. Being around the guys is just a good way to spend your time.
Yeah. Oh, what an amazing team answer when a couple of your highlights are what some of your buddies did. You didn't even throw out one of your own. I mean, no. even though those are highlights, those are the things that stick out for you in your mind. I mean, first goal and all those always stand out, but pretty cool that it's hanging out with the guys and some of the things that they did that stick out with you.
Yeah, I just always enjoyed watching the other guys play sometimes too. It was just fun to watch the way some of those guys played and just how skilled they were.
And lots of skilled guys that came through here for sure. You mentioned a couple, Cheech and Clark. Who else? Who are some of the other guys that you enjoyed playing with?
I really liked Nolan Rideout last year. He's a really great guy. Just enjoyed him in general. Really nice. I liked when I also played with Brady and Ian. They made everything so much easier. It felt like you were playing Bantam A hockey and midget AAA.
The game slowed down. It got a little bit easier.
Yeah, it took some stress off of your shoulders.
There was somebody else to do a bit of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, exactly. Just sit there and be able to just put in your work.
And do your thing. Wow, great answer. And off the ice, I mean, playing with those guys on the ice obviously was great. Seems like, I mean, we had Hutch on here off the top, fun guy to hang out with. But who are some of the other guys that you like to spend time with?
I think Gage Gogol has definitely been one of them. Been sitting nearby him on the bus, in front of him the 1 year, behind him this year for basically two years now. So you got used to the guy.
He wormed his way into your life. Yeah. Hard to believe he's got another year too. He's going to be great news for him if he's around next year.
Yeah, it'll be a third year, first one in 2 years.
Yeah. He'll be here with a crop of new guys, and so if you had some advice for new players starting off, what would you tell them?
Follow the rules for sure. I'd say another one, make sure you do your schoolwork. That's a big one, I feel. I always was the one to struggle on that, but I never got sat for school reasons.
Well, and it is a bit of a struggle. I know, like, you guys are up late and getting to school in the morning and stuff like that, but it is super important, and you're right, to skate by and not run into a jam with that is different than some of the guys. So that is good advice, and of course, just enjoy every moment.
I'd say it goes by really fast. I remember a year ago now sitting in the dressing room thinking, one more weekend, and I still got a whole nother year after this, and now I'm sitting here thinking, one more weekend.
One more weekend, and that's it.
Done.
Road weekend. You know, the guys are going to really, I think, dig into, like you said, enjoying every moment, really having a good time on this one last weekend away. Kind of sad you're not playing at home, but also maybe nice for you guys to spend all that time together.
Yeah, we ended off the year last year with a road trip. So it seems like it's the right way to end it again.
That's just how it happens. Bouncing a little bit back even before the Northstars, who are some memorable coaches you had? Was there anybody that sticks out that got you this far, that helped give you the skills and knowledge you needed?
Well, I can say my dad. I could say my grandpa. Yeah, my dad. No. And then Adam AA, I had Greg Long that year. I also had, then Greg this year again, Stewie this year and last year. And really other than that, I've had just my dad and grandpa. They've been the biggest parts probably to my hockey.
Yeah. They got you this far. Couldn't have been all bad.
No, definitely couldn't have been all bad.
Few great truck trips, a few quiet truck trips when your dad is the coach. When things go good, they're good. When they're not so good, long drive home.
Always. The road trip back always depended on the game right before.
For both of you, probably.
Yep, basically.
Too good. And how about some of the guys that you played with that maybe aren't here now with the Northstars, but anybody that sticks out from when you were a bit younger?
I'd say probably Gorov Guy again. I know his name was already said. Yeah. But Brendan Hall was another big one. Somebody that you grow up with your whole life and hang around. You get, like I said, you get used to the guy and you like them. They're good people, right?
They're part of your life for sure. Any big highlights with those guys or with some of the coaches before you got to this level?
My Bantam AA year was really, really fun. We did pretty good. We just could not beat Flin Flon to save our lives. Placed first, our first tournament. Flin Flon wasn't there. Then after that, it was second place because we lost to Flin Flon every time.
Who were any of the guys from that team playing here now, or there's some people that you remember from that team?
No, the only person that I actually ended up playing with from that team was Nolan Rideout. He was on that team, and yeah, that was about it.
Do you remember any other guys, and probably playing through Northstars is where they'll still stand out a little bit more, but any good players on the other teams when you played against them? I mean, it's kind of easier to say it at the end of the year when you saw these guys and thought, holy cow, that guy's good, or I feel like they're going someplace, or you were kind of surprised by that. Any of those people stick out?
From other teams?
Yeah.
When we had the Bruins up here, I kept getting line matched against their top line. By the end of those 2 days, you're just like, I don't want to play against them anymore. I'm done. Just put me against a different line.
They absolutely wore you down. Who were a couple of those guys?
Guy named Hayden Moore. He's, I think, point leader this year. He's crazy good at this sport. I think he'll definitely find himself going somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's kind of neat. Sometimes you look back and you think that, and you're right. We all do it as players. You want to believe you're way better than everybody, but sometimes there's guys on the other side. You just think, holy cow.
Yeah, I got called up Bantam AAA, and I had to play against Connor Geeky. He went top 10 in this year's draft.
That's a nice brush with greatness, though.
Yeah, I could say I played against Connor Geeky. I could say he tried to toe drag me, and I poke checked the puck from him.
There you go.
I poke checked the puck from an NHL player.
You gave him a little lesson he'll never forget. Let's say that. Speaking of sort of giving people a lesson or not, what's the spring-summer plan? You got any more hockey lined up this year?
I'll be playing with the NCN Flames for the playoffs, and then after that, Not really very many plans. Just kind of go with the flow, really.
Go with the flow. Go with the flow for summer school next year. Hockey would work. We'll see. School.
Probably a little bit of both. Hopefully, I'd like to do some schooling, some hockey. Depends on what ends up happening, really.
What the better option is, what the better thing that shows up is.
Yeah, basically, whatever shows itself more worthy at the time.
I love it, and hopefully we get a cameo or two from you on the Northstar show next year.
Definitely. If I'm around, I'll definitely cameo a few times.
If you're in town, just like BK did the one time, you can slide in.
Yep, and we could go back to the Niches picks.
100%. It's a date. Niche Picks, it's been awesome hanging out with you this year. And like we've mentioned on the show before, you and I connect during the day to talk about what we're going to do today. And it's been fun to get to know you and to have you on the show. So top shelf, thanks for that.
No problem.
Right on. Hey, you know what? That's it. That's it for our season 11. 11? We didn't know. Double episode. We hope you made it to the end. Our YouTube stats will tell us whether people actually made it to the end or not.
Yeah, that's what the man behind the camera said.
Paul said he can check it out. Thanks to Hutch off the top. Nick. Got it? Nick Picks, Hutch's Hunch, Nate Grant in the middle there too. We got Russell Matoo and the coaching staff. But most importantly, thanks to Paul Anderson, the guy behind the camera.
Portey.
And Ethan Portey. Oh yeah, I'm glad I had you here. We'll thank Ports too. He can't stay home, but he's got to go home. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching and for putting up with us. We'll see you back here next year on the North Star Show.